Zacks Rank Buys, stocks with a short-term buy or strong buy recommendation. Now, here are more Zacks Rank Buys. Which stocks have value? Well, all of the ones that Tracy Reinick talks about in the value investing category on Zacks.com. And she's back with us once again to highlight another couple of interesting value picks that she's come up with. Namely Genesis Energy, GEL, the ticker symbol.
Yes.
Now you're going back to that energy group again.
I know.
But oil's falling.
Oil is falling. I just can't stay away from the energy sector. But this one's a little different than some of the others. Genesis is actually transports the energy.
Oh.
So they're big in pipelines. They do a little bit of refining as well, but their main division is from the transportation sector. And they are mainly the southeastern states, so they move gases and things around the country, basically. So
is those petroleum pipelines that we see on the side of the road?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Stuff like that, yeah. Well, petroleum and natural gas, yeah. But they're big in the nat gas area. So, these companies right now, this one is structured as a master limited partnership. Mm-hmm. So they actually pay out a lot of their earnings to shareholders or unit holders, as they call them. So this company is actually paying out a dividend of about 11.4% right now.
Okay.
And they're seeing a big increase in their earnings recently because of the sheer amount of volume that they've been transporting, which so far we haven't seen decline. But this company actually announces fourth quarter earnings on February 25th, so we might get a better indicator. But they did just recently announce a 14th consecutive quarterly dividend increase a couple weeks ago, so we know that the cash is there already even before they report earnings. They actually have a big cash pile sitting there. They have about 170 million.
It's good to know these days.
Yes, this is good. So they're really well positioned, and they've actually been growing aggressively for this kind of company. They've been acquiring other companies and stretching their pipeline reach and things like that. They are Zacks #1 rank, and they are a recommendation buy. Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing about them, too, is that so far their growth rate is projected by covering analysts to be 20% year over year going forward. Again, we'll see if that holds. But, they're trading at about 7 times forward earnings, so they're cheap, but they got the growth component. That's kind of unusual for the value stocks. So I get kind of excited to see that when I'm writing about the company like this.
Yeah, because I could have sworn we talked about this in a different category recently.
Yeah, you might have, because they do have that kind of, right now, more aggressive growth component to them. Their chart is interesting because they sold off with the rest of the market. And some of this, with these companies, even though they aren't getting the oil out of the ground, they get kind of lumped in with a lot of the other energy complex. Mm-hmm. So you do tend to see a sell-off sometimes in this category when the rest of energy sells off. So the stock did trade down to in the November sell-off, and then it's bounced off, and it's kind of stabilized and is going up a little bit here, going into their earnings report.
Okay. And then we have Fuel Systems Solutions,
yes.
Again in that energy group. FSYS, right? They are in that energy group.
Kind of, yes.
Alternative energy.
They are, but they are on the kind of product end. They are making alternative fuel solutions for the combustible engine. So the big push that we've seen in the last couple of months for like natural gas to run your car, that's where they are in.
Okay.
So
they're not working with like Kool-Aid and corn syrup to run your car or anything like that?
No, propane and natural gas.
Okay.
But they've been booming. They've beaten 4 quarters in a row by huge margins. And they also are aggressively growing right now. They're another value stock that is, seeing big growth in the last year and coming up, but they're not set to report fourth quarter until April 21st, so we have a little ways to find out about them.
But they did say that on the 6th of January, they announced on the 6th of January that they would begin manufacturing alternative fuel solutions.
Yes.
So is this like a relatively new venture for them?
No, but they have 2 divisions. They have one in Italy, and then they have one in California, and they're actually most of the auto combustion work they've been doing, manufacturing, has been done out of the Italy division, and now they're also expanding it out of the American side division because of demand reasons and things like that. So that is seen as a bullish thing for the company.
Okay.
They're also Zacks #1 rank and a rank buy, and they also have a low PE ratio, which is around 12 or 13, I think, right now. Mm-hmm. And their PEG is also quite low because they have that high aggressive growth rate of about 20%, and then they have the low earnings side, or growing earnings at the same time.
Okay.
Their chart is interesting because they had the stock skyrocketed based on this whole alternative fuel idea, and that we can run our cars on the natural gas and these other alternatives. And they've been having the great quarters. So the stock skyrocketed, then it sold off. It hit a low around November 21st, right when the rest of the market did. It bounced off that, but in recent days, like last week, it hit close to that November 21st low and then has bounced off of that. So stock's been a little volatile recently.
I still think they should look into the Kool-Aid thing because it comes in an envelope. It's convenient. You put it in your pocket and carry it around with you wherever. And it would come in so handy. Do you or does anyone else in your household own either of these two stocks?
I do not.
All right. Well, Tracy writes about other value stocks as well for Zacks.com, and you can access those text pieces as well as these text pieces that she just talked about on these two companies by going to our homepage and looking over on the right-hand side, upper right-hand side of the homepage where all of the Zacks Rank Buys are listed. Just click on the headline next to the value selection. It will take you to the most current piece and most current stock that Tracy's talking about. With Tracy Reinick, I'm Terry Ruffalo.